Hi everyone, welcome back. Hope everyone's having a great Saturday. A couple of things we want to talk about today is obviously what's going on with Bitcoin, Ethereum as well. We're not going to look at the markets because markets are closed today. We are going to talk about the miners along with Bitcoin, see how they did for the past week. And there's some interesting things going on right now. But we'll get into it all. And then finally, we also have a story that we want to talk about here is more capitulation from the Bitcoin miners. Is that even possible, especially with where we are right now? So we'll take a look at the numbers that I have for it, but we'll also take a look at the story that's reporting this. So this is where we are at, and always not financial advice. You guys know the drill here. I'm investing in following coins and companies for full disclosure. If you enjoy this type of content, please hit the like button, subscribe, helps me out tremendously. And let's get into the numbers here with Bitcoin. It's actually looking pretty good. So here's Bitcoin right now on the daily chart. We are up. We're actually in the new day now. Bitcoin did finish out the day today up 0.74% to a close of 21,300. We did hit a high of 21,478, which is good. RSI is also looking pretty good on it right now. It's at 65 or so. And last time we were there was on Wednesday, 26th of October. Price was obviously much lower at that time. It was at 20,781. We're up quite nicely from there, so that's a good sign on the daily chart. The 4-hour chart is looking pretty good too. If we look at the RSI here, it is at 68. Last time we were here was Saturday, 29th of October. Price was at 20,922. So we are up on the 4-hour chart also, which is good. Short-term bullish sign there. On the 1-hour chart, we're at 58 on the RSI. Last time we were just a couple hours ago, we were lower in price. We're higher in price right now at the same RSI, so that's good. We could also even go back a little bit further on this to back here. We were way down in price there. So it's looking good for Bitcoin right now. Ethereum is also, let's take a look at the daily chart here, was actually down today, surprisingly. I thought it was going to be up, but it is down. It was down 1.07% today to close of 1,627. And it's down a little bit now in the new day trading it right now at 1,626. Okay, so that's the story on Bitcoin and Ethereum for right now. What's going on over the weekend? Let's take a look at our first story, and I'll provide you guys my thoughts on it, on possible continuation of capitulation from the Bitcoin miners. So there is potential for more capitulation from Bitcoin miners. Let's take a look at it here. So this was from Bitcoin Magazine, and I highlighted the main important part. So public miners across the board continue to heavily underperform Bitcoin in year-to-date performance. That's not a new trend, but now as miners start to fall and the survivors emerge, the performance gap starts to widen in a big way. Miners on the edge of going under are down over 90%, while the market's chosen stronger miners are more in the 60-70% drawdown range. And they're looking at it from just the beginning of the year to now. And they're comparing obviously BTC, Marathon, CleanSpark, Hut, Riot, Hive, Bitfarms, BitDigital, Iris, Moss, and Argo, and Core Scientific. We can see that Bitcoin is only down 56, Marathon is down 66.89, CleanSpark is down 68.61. Then you got, what's this one? That's Hut's not listed on here. This looks like maybe Hive 77.89% down, then followed by Bitfarms down 82.5. Then Iris Energy is down 82.6. And then we got Argo, looks like 93.23, and Core Scientific down 98.39. I have something similar to this, but I'm looking at the 52-week highs that we've had and where we are right now. And what's the word I'm looking for? Sorting them by that performance there. We'll take a look at it here in a little bit once we're done with the story. Continuing on here, they talk about Core Scientific being down, obviously selling a lot, well, not selling, but putting out a press release that they're in trouble. They're not going to be able to pay their bills for October and November potentially. And other ones, they also covered Argo here as well. They went into it, Iris Energy as well, with their problems that they're having. And let's see here, Stronghold was included in this as well. Here's the part that I thought was interesting. So CleanSpark, who's been in place of growth and able to buy ASIC at lower prices recently, ended up selling more of their Bitcoin holdings, mined 532 BTC and spent 836 last month to support growth in operations. Although many major miners are still maintaining their HODL strategies and Bitcoin balances, strong miners will tap into those holdings for growth opportunities or funding operations when absolutely needed. I would hope that it's the case. I hope they don't dilute even more. But you have Hut 8, You also have Marathon, which hodl a lot. Those guys, well, if Bitcoin goes down in price, we're looking at maybe 15,000 price for BTC. At that point, they may be forced to start selling some of their hodl position in order to continue operations and things like that. But we'll see. They also talked about TeraWolf here a little bit. And then as larger private lenders like BlockFi and NYDIG don't disclose how much mining debt is on their balance sheets, it's impossible to know for sure how exposed some of these lenders are to the broader mining industry bankruptcy risk on the horizon. These loans may be a reasonable portion of broader financing activities and well equipped to handle the default risk, but it's dynamic worth highlighting and to better understand as we expect more miners to face pressure of debt default and or restructuring over the next few months. So the writers of this article are still thinking that there's going to be more pain to come from the miners. They didn't provide who, but Fred Seal did say this recently. So one opinion from Marathon Digital Holdings CEO Fred Thiel ballparks that 20 or so public miners could be at risk of going bankrupt in what he deems a perfect storm for the industry. Now, I think I have 15 to 17 miners that I cover right now. That's basically everybody that I cover would be going bankrupt, which I don't see that happening, at least not at the current Bitcoin price where things are. Current hash rate, there's still a bunch of miners that are being installed. I think at this point, a lot of them are still going to be okay, but there are a couple that may be having issues. And we've already seen, obviously, Core. We've seen it from Argo. We've seen it from Mawson. We've seen it from Stronghold as well. So those are the ones that have already kind of capitulated a little bit or are going to be capitulating here. But we still have a bunch of miners that are doing pretty well. So we'll take a look at those here in a minute. There's no doubt that larger, better positioned miners are looking for potential favorable acquisition deals to arise fairly soon. Like every other industry before it, major industry consolidation is inevitable, and public Bitcoin mining looks primed to go through the next phase of its life cycle. It's likely we move to a world where there are only a few major Bitcoin miner giants with a handful of much smaller miners behind them. I hope that's not the case. I hope that all the miners that we cover here survive and are able to thrive going into the next bull run. But if it happens, this would not be good. We obviously don't want it to be consolidated into a small number of large companies. We want it to be as decentralized as we possibly can. But it's obviously not that easy, knowing that the costs that are associated with it and the cost of electricity has to be really good for that to work out as well. So it has become a kind of like a big player's game a little bit. Similarly, it's entirely possible that as this cycle moves from the bottom right quadrant to the bottom left, cash-rich energy producers at both the public and private level start scooping up ASICs to deploy in preparation for the next bull phase. So they're thinking here, if I get this correct, rich energy producers. So we're looking at electrical companies that are producing electricity, some other ones as well. It could be included in this mix, that they're going to be the ones scooping up these miners that are at fire sale prices. We've already seen it with Argo selling for, what did they sell those for? $14.50 per terahash roughly. But the only thing that's not jiving with me a little bit is they're going, so we are here right now, this is what they're pointing out at, that we have an inventory flush right now, which is true. We're seeing some miners that can't afford to pay for them anymore, they're getting rid of them. Then we're going to be heading into a shakeout. Shakeout usually leads to a decrease in hash rate, but we have not seen that happen at all. If we look at the hash rate right now, it is still going up. You can see it here, we are at 272 million right now terahashes per second. We did dip a little bit, but it continues to go up. We have a lot of miners that are still going to be installing hardware, and that's going to continue on through at least the better part of next year. Q1 and Q2 for sure, and then we'll see how Q3 and Q4 shake out, as I think most of the miners are going to have all their machines installed by then or pretty close to it. At that point, I think we might be slowing down a little bit, unless we start getting more news from the miners that they're buying more miners for next year, which could be the case too. But this, I don't think, is going to play out the way they're seeing it here with a decrease in hash rate. I think we're seeing continued increased hash rate. So we may go from inventory flush, which we're seeing now, to kind of shake out a little bit, but we're going back into this, not as far left on the decrease of hash rate. I think the hash rate is going to be pretty static. Well, not it's going to be static, but it's going to be in this range a little bit and increasing going forward. So this I kind of disagree with a little bit. And let's see if there's anything else. That is it. So we still have some time. We are seeing also Bitcoin going up in price a little bit now. We've had a couple of weeks now where we were in the green, which is good, but we still need Bitcoin to go up at least to probably 25, 30,000 for a lot of these miners to kind of catch their breath a little bit and possibly get back on their feet, if that makes sense. But I don't think we're going to see as many bankruptcies that Peter Thiel thinks that we're going to see 20 or so public miners. That would be huge. I don't think that's going to happen unless Bitcoin goes down to $15,000 or $10,000. And in that case, if it holds there for long, yes, that might happen. Right now, it's just not looking like it. But time will only tell on that one. Okay, so that's that story. And then here are the miners that I think, well, we've already seen some of these, but we've seen it from, where is it? Core Scientific had a huge number of amount of debt, 1.4 billion. As of Q2, we're waiting on Q3 results to see how this has improved or not. We also know that Marathon has a large amount of debt, 850 million as well. That would be actually kind of funny if Peter Thiel said, 20 public mining companies are going to go bankrupt, and one of the companies that goes bankrupt is his, because of the amount of debt that they have on it. But we'll have to see their Q3 numbers come out as well. I think those are coming out this week, if not next week. So we'll take a look at that, see if that number has improved at all. Who else do we have here that's got a lot of debt? Riot's not too bad, 147. They're still in the green here when it comes to current assets minus total liabilities. Marathon was at 487 negative. Mawson was 78. I think they paid down quite a bit of it after selling the facility to CleanSpark, selling the miners. They should be in better position, I think. Stronghold also gave back a lot of their miners. Who else here do we have? Greenidge, same thing. They could be in trouble. Next is Core. We already know Core. And then these guys are just a little under, but they still have pretty good. They don't have a lot of liabilities. Bitfarms is a little bit more, 137 million in total liabilities. Argo, 157. Argo has had issues as well. And what do we got? CleanSpark at 34 million. That's not too bad. If we look at the assets here, total liabilities, let's see here. Yeah. Total assets, that one. Yeah, I think those are the ones that are going to be the ones that might have issues. Obviously, Marathon with a lot of debt. We've seen it with the other ones as well. So we'll see where that plays out. Okay. Enough of the capitulation and fear and FUD and everything else. Let's take a look at what actually happened this week with the miners and Bitcoin. And here we have it. One interesting tidbit for this week, if we look at it, Bitcoin was actually up 2.68%, while majority of the miners were down, which was kind of hit me strange on that one. But we'll get into it in a little bit. Right now, I just want to take a look at the miners that are off their 52-week highs and how much they're off. So Bitcoin off of its 52-week high is off 69%. DMG is at 86%. CleanSpark at 86 as well. HUT is at 86 as well. Marathon is at 87. Riot at 87.5. Hive is at 89.8. Iris 90.1. DigiHost 90.4. Bitfarms 90.5. BitDigital 91.5. Soluna 93.9. Sphere at 94.1. Argo 94.8. Mawson 97. Greenidge 97.4. And Core Scientific 98.9. They're right there at the bottom now at 14 cents. They're actually at 16 cents right now. So it's not looking good. Now, going back to this chart here where we see Bitcoin up 2.68. Usually when we see Bitcoin going up, we also see a lot of the miners going up. We didn't see it this time around, which got me thinking a little bit. So I pulled in a bunch of data here. I went pretty much through the beginning of the year for trading at the end of each week where we ended up at. And down here, I calculated the number of miners that were also in the green when Bitcoin was in the green here. So in the beginning of the year, we had 12, 7, 17 here, 10, 15, 13, 9. We only had 6 here. This was back in June, which obviously June was a pretty bad month for us. 13, also in June, 14, 16, 10, 17, 15, 10, 7, 13, and now we only have 2, which really doesn't make any sense for me. A couple of things that popped in my head at this time was, are we decoupling from Bitcoin with the miners? Which just seems weird, or is it because of all the bad stories that we've just had this past week with Core Scientific? We've had it with Argo as well, and now Iris Energy. Is that leading to a broader market sell-off from investors and potentially big investment firms? I don't know. We'll have to see how next week plays out. If we're also in the green and if we see the same low number, then something's going on which I'm missing. So if you guys know anything on that one, comment down below. I'd love to hear it, what your guys' thoughts are on this one. Okay, so let's take a look at what happened this week with the miners really quick, and we'll get into the 4 weeks, 8 weeks, and 12 weeks as well. And we'll call it a day. Let me see here. Let's go back here. Okay. So Bitcoin was up 2.68%. DigiHost was up 2.8%, so they did better than Bitcoin. BitDigital was up 1.87%, a little bit less than Bitcoin, and then everybody below did worse. So the worst performer was Argo, down 44.62%, followed by Marathon. Surprisingly, Marathon, even though they provided pretty good numbers for October mining, they're down 21.73%, which is strange. Greenedge down 19.8%, Iris down 19.6%, Core down another 18.8%, Riot down 17.87%, CleanSpark down 17.21%. CleanSpark also provided great numbers along with Riot. I would have thought that would have lifted them up to be higher than Bitcoin. Usually when Bitcoin's up 2%, these guys are up 5, 7, 10% up. So it's just a strange week here. Hive 15% down, Bitfarms on 15, Soluna down 13, DMG down 11, Hut down 8, Mawson down 2, and Sphere down 0.44 on the 1 week. On the 4 week, let's take a look. Right here, we see Bitcoin being up 10.22%, Sphere is up 15%, Hut 8, 17.93. So all you guys that love Hut out there, and I see you guys in the comments, Hut 8 has done great here on the 4 weeks. If you bought it 4 weeks ago, you're doing pretty good. Mawson is only up 9.7, right? Do I have that right? 9.7, yep. DigiHost 8.45. Then you got CleanSpark up 7. And BitDigital up 5.83. Marathon 5.24. DMG 2.8. And Riot is up 0.52. And Bitfarm is down 6.3. Hive down 10.6. Iris down 17.9. Green is down 25. Argo down 33. Soluna down 41. And Core down 85 from there. And finally, let's take a look at 8 weeks and 12 weeks. Sort descending. There we go. Okay, so again, Hut 8 has done the best. It's up 11.86%. Bitcoin's up 6.95%. And everybody here has done worse. Worst performer, Core Scientific down 91, followed by Argo at 73, Greenedge at 62, Soluna at 47, Iris at 44, Hive down 32, Bitfarms down 28, Mawson 27, Sphere down 23, CleanSpark down 18, DMG down 16, BitDigital down 14, Riot down 12, DigiHost down 9, and Marathon down 0.73. And finally, on the 12-week chart, what do we got going on here? We got Bitcoin actually up 1.29. Hut is down the least, 6.47% from 12 weeks ago, followed by Marathon at 17, then Riot at 20, DigiHost at 27, DMG at 28, BitDigital at 30, CleanSpark at 34, Sphere at 36, Mawson at 38, Bitfarms at 40, Iris at 44, Hive at 46, Soluna at 68, Greenedge at 73, Argo 77, and Core Scientific down 93%. So that is it for the Bitcoin versus miners for the week. And you can see here that each time Bitcoin has gone up, the miners have gone up in the past. Bitcoin has gone down, miners have gone down as well. So it's a little strange to see this week being kind of off. But it is what it is. Let me know what you guys think that was. And also, do you guys think that other miners are going to capitulate? At this point, it's anybody's game. So we'll see on that one. Also, Riot. So if you guys have any questions for them, comment down below someplace. I'll add those to my list of questions I'm going to send over to them on Monday. I've got a pretty good list already right now. I think we have 15 questions for them right now. Some questions I also want to add to it myself. So they'll go out on Monday, and then maybe by the end of next week, we'll get some answers from that, and we'll do a video on it as well. What else? Spreadsheet available to my Patreon members. As always, thank you to everyone there for their continued support. Thank you so much for watching. Love you all. If you enjoyed the video, hit the like button, subscribe. Helps me out. And we'll see what we can find tomorrow, if there's any news or not. Also, reporting starts next week, so we got some quarterly reports coming out. We'll cover those. We're still waiting on a bunch of miners to provide their October numbers, and we'll get to those when those come out. That's it. I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a great night. Bye.